Words. There comes a time in life when you have to stop waiting for motivation to show up and start forcing yourself to get things done. You have to stop sitting around hoping for the perfect moment, the perfect mood, or the perfect plan. The truth is, you will never feel ready. There will never be a day when everything lines up perfectly, when you feel full of energy, or when fear disappears. You have to move anyway. Words. You have to push yourself even when you don't feel like it. Success doesn't come from comfort. It comes from consistency, from showing up when you least want to, words. From doing what needs to be done even when nobody is watching. You can't keep waiting for someone to save you, encourage you, or inspire you. You have to be your own motivation. Words. You have to be the one who wakes up and says, I don't care how I feel, I'm doing this anyway. That's discipline. That's the difference between people who dream and people who achieve. Words. Everyone has dreams, but very few have the discipline to do what's required. If you can learn to push yourself when you're tired, when you're doubting, when you're scared, words, that's when you begin to separate yourself from the average. There's a fire inside you that's been waiting to be ignited, but it won't light up by chance. You have to strike it with effort, with focus, with determination. The more you push, the stronger you become. Every time you force yourself to do something uncomfortable, you grow. Every time you choose effort over excuses, you build character. Words. Every time you say, I'll do it anyway, you train your mind to stop giving power to your feelings. Because your feelings lie. They tell you to rest when it's time to grind. Words. They tell you to quit when you're close to breakthrough. They tell you it's impossible when it's just difficult. But the disciplined person doesn't ask for it easy. They build strength in the storm. Words. You have to stop living by emotions and start living by commitment. The people who win in life aren't the ones who feel the most motivated. Words. They're the ones who stay committed even when motivation disappears. Motivation is like a spark. It fades fast. Commitment is like a fire. It burns long because it's fueled by purpose. Words. You have to find that purpose inside you, that why, that's stronger than your pain. Because when your why is strong enough, your how becomes unstoppable. When you know what you're fighting for, words. The tiredness doesn't matter. The opinions don't matter. The delays don't matter. You keep going because quitting isn't an option. You have to stop waiting to feel confident before you act. Confidence doesn't come first. It comes later, after you've acted, after you've failed, after you've tried again. The more you move, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more you believe. So stop sitting there wishing for confidence. Go build it. Push through the fear, the laziness, the self-doubt. Don't let your mind convince you that comfort is safety. Comfort is a cage. You weren't born to sit there and settle. You were born to grow, to push, to create, to fight for something that sets your soul on fire. There will be days when you feel like nothing's working. Words. When progress seems invisible, when every step feels heavier than the last. That's the moment you have to dig deeper. That's the test life gives before it opens the next door. Most people quit in that season. They stop right before the breakthrough. But if you can force yourself to take one more step, one more action, one more try, that's where everything changes. Words. That's where strength is born. Success isn't built in the moments of excitement. It's built in the moments of exhaustion when you keep going anyway. You can't control everything around you. Words. But you can always control your effort. You can always choose to show up. You can always choose to work. You can always choose to give your best. And when you do that consistently, life begins to shift. Words. The universe starts to move in your favor. Opportunities show up because effort attracts opportunity. Every time you take action, you send a message to life that says, I'm ready. And life always responds to those who are ready. Stop telling yourself, I'll start tomorrow. Tomorrow is just an excuse you use to stay comfortable today. Words. Tomorrow never comes for people who keep waiting. The clock is ticking, and every day you waste is a day you could have used to get closer to your goals. You don't get another chance at today. Words. You don't get a replay this time, so stop wasting it. Stop scrolling, stop complaining, stop waiting for motivation. Move. Take one step. Do one thing. Start small, but start now. Action builds momentum, words, and momentum builds success. You have to train your mind like a muscle. Discipline doesn't grow in comfort, it grows in resistance. Every time you force yourself to act when you don't feel like it, you're strengthening that muscle. Soon it becomes your nature. Soon it becomes who you are. Someone who doesn't wait, someone who executes, someone who finishes what they start. That's what separates leaders from followers. That's what creates success stories. People look at successful individuals and think they're lucky, gifted, or chosen. No, they're disciplined. They force themselves to do the hard things daily. They wake up early when others sleep. They focus when others are distracted. They sacrifice comfort for growth. And that's why they win. You can have talent, words, you can have dreams, you can have passion, but without discipline, it all fades. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. You don't need to feel inspired to take action, words. You need to take action to feel inspired. Waiting for the perfect feeling is like waiting for rain in a drought. It might never come. But when you move, when you start, when you push through resistance, words, you create that feeling yourself. You become your own fuel. The greatest version of you is waiting on the other side of your excuses. The only way to meet that version is to force yourself to move forward even when it's uncomfortable. Stop saying, I can't. Replace it with, I will. Stop saying, I'm tired. Replace it with, I'm grateful for another chance. Stop saying, I'll try. Replace it with, I'll do it. Words carry energy, words, and your energy shapes your actions. When you talk strong, you act strong. When you think strong, you live strong. So build that mental toughness every single day. Train your mind to say, no matter what, I'm getting it done. When you start forcing yourself to get things done, your life begins to change faster than you think. You'll start respecting yourself more. You'll start trusting yourself more. Words, you'll stop needing validation from others because you'll know you can rely on your own discipline. And that kind of self-trust is priceless. It's what gives you confidence in chaos. Words. It's what keeps you calm under pressure. It's what makes you unstoppable. You have to remind yourself that success isn't supposed to be easy. It's supposed to challenge you, stretch you, and sometimes even break you, but not to destroy you, to rebuild you stronger. You will fail. But you can't stay there. You have to get up and go again. Every time you rise, words, you prove to life that you're serious. Every time you keep going, you show that you're not someone who gives up. And when life sees that, it rewards you. Force yourself to learn. Force yourself to wake up earlier. Force yourself to plan, to execute, to move with intention. Because the more you push through your comfort zone, the wider your world becomes. Words. You start to see what you're truly capable of. And once you realize your power, you'll never want to go back to being average again. This is your time. This is your chance. Words, you've got dreams waiting to be built, goals waiting to be achieved, a future waiting to be lived. But none of that will happen if you keep waiting for the perfect mood. Force yourself to take the first step. Words, even if it's small, even if it's scary, even if you don't know how it'll turn out. Because once you move, life starts moving with you. The universe doesn't reward wishes, it rewards work. So today, make a promise to yourself. No more waiting, no more excuses, no more hesitation. Push yourself, discipline yourself, build yourself. You don't have to be the most talented, the most educated, or the most connected. You just have to be the most consistent. Because consistency beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Consistency beats luck when luck fades. Words. And consistency beats fear when fear tries to hold you back. You've got what it takes. You've got the strength inside you. You just have to use it. Force yourself to show up. Force yourself to finish. Words. Force yourself to do the uncomfortable things until they become natural. Because when you master that, there's nothing you can't achieve. And one day when you look back at your journey, words, you'll realize that every push, every late night, every early morning, every hard day you forced yourself through, it all mattered. It built the person you were meant to become, words. It created the life you dreamed of. It made you unstoppable. So don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the right time. The time is now. The power is within you. And if you just force yourself to get things done, one day you'll thank yourself for never giving up when it would have been easier to quit. Discipline will take you where motivation can't. Words. Because motivation is temporary, it comes and goes like the wind, but discipline stays when everything else fades. Discipline stays when your body is tired, when your mind is screaming to quit, when nobody is cheering for you. Discipline becomes your engine when inspiration runs out. It becomes your inner power when the world gets silent. It becomes the voice that says, keep moving, keep working. Words. Keep believing even when you don't feel like it, because motivation is based on feelings, but discipline is built on decisions. Motivation waits for the right moment, but discipline creates it. Motivation wants comfort, but discipline chooses growth, and growth never happens without discomfort, pain, and sacrifice. You have to be willing to push yourself through what others avoid. Words. You have to be willing to show up on the days when motivation doesn't exist. That's where success is born. Not in the loud moments of excitement, but in the quiet ones of effort. Words. The moments when no one sees you grinding, when no one claps, when no one says thank you. Those are the moments that build greatness. Those are the moments that shape champions. Words. Discipline is what turns ordinary people into unstoppable forces. Discipline is what keeps you steady when the storms come, because storms will come. Life will test you. Your emotions will fail you. Your strength will fade, but discipline will remind you of who you are and why you started. It will pull you through the darkness when everything feels heavy. Words. It will whisper in your ear that quitting won't solve anything, that you've come too far to turn back now. You can't rely on motivation because motivation is emotional and emotions change every second. Words. One day you'll feel powerful, the next you'll feel empty. One day you'll wake up ready to conquer the world, the next you'll want to hide from it. But discipline is not emotional, it's logical. Words. It's rooted in commitment. It doesn't care about how you feel. It cares about what needs to be done. It's that part of your soul that knows what's right and forces you to do it. It's the voice that says, get up. Move, push, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how long it takes, no matter who supports you, you keep going because success doesn't wait for your mood to improve. Success only responds to action. It only respects effort. You can't pray your way into success without working your way into it. Faith without effort is empty. Words. And discipline is that bridge that connects belief to results. It's what builds consistency, and consistency is where miracles are born. You see, motivation can start a fire, but discipline keeps it burning. Motivation can give you a spark, but discipline becomes the fuel. Motivation is a guest that visits sometimes, but discipline is a roommate that never leaves. It stays with you through failure, through pain, words, through rejection, through doubt. It holds your hand through the hard times and says, keep walking. Because the finish line is still ahead, and if you stop now, you'll never know how close you were. Discipline gives you power over yourself, and when you can control yourself, you can control your destiny, because the hardest person you'll ever have to conquer is you. Not the world, not your enemies. Words, not the doubters. It's the voice inside your head that says stop. It's the urge that says rest when it's time to work. It's the excuses that whisper you're not ready, and discipline silences them all. Words, it tells them no. It says, I will not give in. I will not stop. I will not live another day wishing I had done more. Every successful person you admire didn't rely on being motivated every day. Words. They built habits. They built systems. They built discipline. They woke up early even when their body said no. They kept studying when their mind said, I'm done. They showed up when others disappeared. And that's why they're ahead, because discipline is the foundation of every dream. Without it, nothing lasts. You can get excited for a while. You can work hard for a few weeks. But without discipline, you'll always fall back into old patterns. You'll always find yourself starting over. And success doesn't come to people who keep starting over. Words. It comes to people who keep showing up even when the excitement fades. Discipline isn't glamorous, it's not flashy, it's not loud, it's quiet, it's boring, it's repetitive, but it's powerful. Words. It's what builds the habits that lead to mastery. It's what makes you consistent when others get distracted. It's what gives you control when chaos tries to take over. When you live with discipline, wards, you stop being controlled by laziness. You stop being controlled by moods. You stop being controlled by fear, because discipline kills fear. Discipline destroys procrastination. Discipline frees you from regret. Wards, every time you say no to distraction, you say yes to destiny. Every time you choose focus over comfort, you take a step closer to your dream. Every time you get up after failure, your discipline grows stronger. Wards, you start realizing that it's not about feeling good every day. It's about doing good every day. That's the difference between winners and wishers. Winners do it anyway. They show up. They execute. They grind in silence. They don't need applause to stay driven because their drive comes from within. Their discipline is internal, not borrowed from motivation videos, not borrowed from other people's approval. It's self-made. And that kind of discipline is unbreakable. There will be mornings when the alarm feels heavier than usual, when your bed feels like a trap, when your mind says you deserve a break. That's when you fight, because discipline is forged in resistance. Every time you resist the temptation to quit, you grow stronger. Discipline isn't about perfection. Wards, it's about persistence. It's not about never falling. It's about never staying down. It's about saying, I'll do it anyway. Even if I fail, even if I'm tired, even if no one notices. Wards, I'll still do it because I made a promise to myself and I refuse to break it. That's what discipline does. It builds integrity. It builds character. It makes you dependable to yourself, because the most dangerous thing is not breaking promises to others. It's breaking promises to yourself. Once you lose trust in your own word, you stop believing in your own power. Wards. And discipline restores that power. It reminds you that you're capable of keeping your word, of finishing what you start, of doing what you said you would do. Discipline doesn't make life easier. Wards, it makes you stronger. It doesn't remove obstacles. It teaches you how to move through them. It doesn't erase pain. It teaches you how to work with it. Discipline makes you emotionally tougher. Wards, mentally sharper, spiritually grounded. It takes away your dependency on motivation, because when you're disciplined, you don't need to feel ready. You just do it. You just move. You just act. Wards. And that's how transformation begins, through consistent small actions done daily, through repetition, through practice, through commitment, because no one becomes great overnight. Wards. Greatness is built in the moments no one sees, in the moments when you choose discipline over excuses, in the moments when you say yes to growth and no to comfort. It's a war against yourself. Wards. And discipline is your weapon. When you start living with discipline, people will notice. They'll see your energy shift. They'll see your focus change. They'll see your results grow. And they'll call you lucky. But they'll never understand the nights you forced yourself to stay up, the mornings you forced yourself to show up, the hours you forced yourself to grind when no one was clapping. They'll never understand that it wasn't luck. It was discipline, pure, raw, relentless discipline, the kind that hurts. Wards, the kind that requires sacrifice, the kind that makes you cry sometimes but never lets you quit. And that's what separates dreamers from doers. Wards, the world is full of people who want success, but very few who are willing to endure the process. Discipline is the price of success, and those who pay it win, not because they're special. Wards, but because they refuse to stop. You have to treat discipline like oxygen. You can't live without it. You can't grow without it. You can't win without it. Motivation can inspire you for a moment. Wards. But discipline transforms you for a lifetime. It shapes your habits, your thinking, your identity. It becomes part of who you are. And once it does, you stop depending on anything external. Wards. You stop looking for reasons. You stop waiting for approval. You stop begging for motivation. You become self-driven, self-made, unstoppable. And that's when you realize the truth. Success isn't about talent. It's about discipline, because talent can fade. Luck can run out, but discipline endures forever. So remind yourself every morning that discipline is your best friend. Wards. It won't always feel good. It won't always be easy, but it will always be worth it, because while others talk about what they're going to do, you'll be doing it. while others wait for motivation. You'll be creating results while others complain. You'll be conquering because discipline doesn't need permission. It doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It just acts, and action creates change. Words, action builds confidence. Action makes dreams real. So force yourself to stay disciplined, to stay consistent, to stay hungry, and soon you'll look back and realize that at every small act of discipline created the life you were always praying for, not because you felt like it, but because you did it anyway. There comes a time in every person's life when comfort begins to feel like a cage. It feels soft, it feels safe, but it holds you down in silence. Words. You wake up every day and tell yourself you'll do it. Tomorrow, you'll start that project. You'll fix that habit. You'll chase that dream, but tomorrow never comes. And every time you delay your calling, words. You dig yourself deeper into the quicksand of procrastination. You're not stuck because you can't move. You're stuck because you refuse to move. Words. Because your mind keeps finding excuses softer than your pillow. Your energy gets consumed by thoughts instead of action, and slowly you become a prisoner of your own comfort zone. Words. People talk about success like it's luck, but success has never been luck. It's a choice. It's a daily grind against your weaker self. It's showing up when your body wants rest. Words. It's acting when your fear wants silence. It's doing the hard thing when the easy one feels better. Your life doesn't change because you wish. It changes because you decide. Words, and deciding means breaking the patterns that have been holding you hostage for years. Deciding means getting up 1 hour earlier. Deciding means doing it even when motivation isn't there. Deciding means you force yourself, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Every person who ever changed their life had to fight that voice inside that said, not today, maybe later. Words. Maybe when I feel ready. But let me tell you something, you'll never feel ready. Readiness is an illusion your brain creates to delay the pain of growth. The truth is, you'll always feel scared. Words, you'll always feel doubt. But courage doesn't come from comfort. It comes from resistance, from pressure, from pushing when everything in you screams to stop. You think discipline is punishment, but it's the most powerful form of self-love you can ever show yourself, because it says, I deserve a better life, and I'm willing to do the work to get it. Words. Most people stay broke not because they don't have opportunities, but because they won't break their routines. They stay small not because they lack dreams, but because they won't act on them. Words. They wait for the right time, the right feeling, the right motivation, and time keeps slipping away while they stand still. You can't pray for growth while clinging to comfort. You can't wish for success while avoiding struggle. Life rewards those who move, not those who wait. You don't get stronger by staying still. You get stronger by lifting the weight of resistance. Words. You grow by doing what you don't want to do. And every time you force yourself to act, you silence the weakness that lives inside you. People think being tired is an excuse. Being busy is an excuse. Words. Being afraid is an excuse. But these are the exact battles success was built on. The greatest people in the world were tired. They were scared, but they moved anyway because they understood that progress doesn't wait for perfect conditions. Every step you take, even the smallest one, breaks the chain that's been holding your potential. Words. When you force yourself to work, when it's hard, you train your mind to obey your goals, not your moods. The lazy part of you will always try to negotiate comfort. It will say, you've done enough. Take it easy. You can do it later. And that's the moment you lose ground. That's the moment the gap between who you are and who you could be gets wider. Success isn't about talent. It's about endurance. It's about forcing yourself through the storms of laziness, through the waves of fear, through the winds of excuses. When you stop giving yourself options, you start giving yourself results. You can't keep hitting snooze on your future because every time you delay, your dream gets dimmer, and one day you wake up wondering where all the years went. Stop waiting for the right mood to act. Your body follows your mind, not the other way around. Tell yourself, I'm doing this now, not later, not someday, now, because the future belongs to those who act while others are still deciding. Words. The comfort zone may give you peace today, but it will steal your potential tomorrow. You weren't born to live in hesitation. You were built to move mountains, and no mountain moves without force. Words. Stop saying I can't, start saying I must, because must has power. Must pushes you beyond excuses. Must breaks your limits. When you live with must, your actions catch up with your dreams, or it's every day you show up, every day you take a step, every day you fight the urge to give up, you build a new identity, one that's unshakable, one that doesn't depend on motivation, but on mission. The mission to become better, the mission to live fully, the mission to not waste the gift of this life. People ask how to stop procrastinating, but the truth is procrastination never ends. Words. It just weakens when your desire to grow becomes stronger than your desire to rest. You have to feed your hunger more than your hesitation, feed your focus more than your fears. Words. If you only act when you feel like it, you'll stay average forever. Average waits, great acts. You have to treat your dream like it's oxygen, like it's survival, because when it becomes that real, you won't let comfort choke it. The reason people never change is because they keep negotiating with their limits instead of breaking them. You'll never feel comfortable doing something new, but comfort is the cost of greatness. And if you can accept that, you'll be unstoppable. Stop doubting, stop waiting, stop planning and start doing. Stop talking about what you want and start walking toward it. Stop letting fear of failure freeze your motion. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of it. Words. The path to mastery is paved with moments you didn't want to show up, but did anyway. Moments you didn't feel ready, but tried anyway. Moments you wanted to quit, but stayed anyway. Words. You don't force yourself because it's easy. You force yourself because it's the only way to rise. Everything you dream of is on the other side of discomfort. Your mind will resist. Your body will ache. Words. Your friends may doubt you, but once you break through, you'll realize that the hardest step wasn't the work. It was starting. Once you start, momentum becomes your ally. Every repetition, every effort, every act of discipline compounds. You begin to crave progress more than pleasure. You begin to enjoy the process more than the outcome. That's when you know you're changing. Words. That's when you know you're not the same person you were yesterday, because now you lead yourself. You don't wait for a spark. You are the spark. When your goals are clear, you don't need motivation. Words, you just move because your purpose pulls you stronger than your fears push you. Your habits become your armor. Your routine becomes your shield. Your focus becomes your fire. Words. And once you taste the strength of doing what you said you do, you'll never go back to excuses. You'll look back one day and thank yourself for every morning you didn't quit. Words. For every time you forced yourself out of bed, for every sacrifice that made you grow. You'll realize that your power was never missing. It was just sleeping under the comfort you refused to leave. Words. And when you wake it up, there's no limit to what you can do. So stop waiting for someone to save you. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for the right moment. Create it. Act now. Words. Because your life is waiting. Your destiny is waiting. And it's not coming to your comfort zone. It's waiting at the edge of your effort. And the only way to reach it is to move. To force yourself, words, to show up again and again until action becomes your nature and laziness becomes a memory, because that's how real transformation begins, not with inspiration, but with decision, not with words, but with work, not with comfort, but with courage.